It's April 1st, 2019. I'd like to call a regular meeting. Gina, could you call the order, please?
Sure. Councilmember Graham?
Here.
Councilmember Rams?
Here.
Councilmember Chapman?
Here.
Councilmember Plaza?
Here.
Councilmember Hubbard? Councilmember Fredericks? Councilmember Benjamin?
Okay, has anyone heard from Susan Humbard? Mrs. Humbard, you have paid, so could I get a motion to excuse Mrs. Humbard?
Make a motion to excuse Councilmember Hubbard.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, excuse me. I'll let Gina take the roll. I won't do it all myself.
You can do it that way.
You must have someplace to go.
Shall we do both of them at the same time?
Sure, yeah.
Has anyone heard from Mr. Benjamin? I mean, Mr. Fredericks? Benjamin Fredericks.
So he will not be here.
He will not be here either, okay. Can I ascertain a motion?
Do you want to amend that motion that I made originally?
Yes.
And so can we make a motion to excuse Councilmember Fredericks and Councilmember Hubbard then?
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Rams?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to introduce Ms. Johnson?
Sure can. So we have a new member of our community development team, and this is Melissa Johnston. She's, a week into it now? So, and Travis went on vacation, so he has some confidence.
Oh, I know how that goes.
All right. So I thought maybe you could tell council a little bit about your background and yourself.
Sure. Well, hi, I'm Melissa Johnston. Very happy to be here, part of City of Woodland. I studied at Portland State University. I have my Master of Urban and Regional Planning. And since then I've been working in solid waste management and urban forestry management, working with their plans and working in public outreach for various local governments and also private contractors. I most recently worked for Waste Connections in their education and outreach department. Very happy to be here. Everybody has been so friendly and welcoming, all the staff. I've met the Planning Commission and some of you tonight, so just thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
I should report I've had a number of employees stop by my office just to say, thank goodness she's here, she's doing a great job. You know, everyone seems to be very happy.
Good. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
We forgot to do the pledge, can we?
Oh, I'm
jump up
sorry.
and take care of that?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't. Yes. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Plaza.
You bet.
Okay, next item on the agenda is citizens' communications for items not on the agenda, and no one has signed in. So is there anyone in the audience that didn't get a chance to sign in that would like to speak? Okay. We will go to citizens' communications for items on the agenda. No one signed up for that. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Okay. All right, so we will go to agenda approval. Okay. Been first and seconded to approve the agenda. You want to take the...
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Okay, reports of city council. Anyone do anything exciting? Well, I was absent last week, or the last meeting down in California for a little vacation myself, but, so I haven't been to too much here lately?
No, I haven't.
Nothing else? Okay. Reports of standing committees. I am normally due to report on Public Works, but I'm going to defer that to Stacy this evening. So, did you want to go with that, Public Works?
Yes, I can do that when I do my presentation.
Okay, all right, perfect. Public Safety. Who does that?
Well, Susan usually does. I do not have any minutes from that meeting, and we'll just have to wait until
We'll
next time.
defer that to then.
Yes.
Okay. Human Resources. Looks like it's going to be a short meeting this evening. Okay. So, Mrs. Graham, how about, we're going to the reports of advisory committees, Chamber of Commerce.
Just a few things from the chamber. We still are doing our legislative calls Tuesday mornings at the Information Center at 7:30. Last week was at Orcutt. Don't recall if there was anything significant. There's just a lot of things that they're finalizing and doing. The chamber is, and I am very happy to announce, and I will share some pictures as of today. Our new sign is going up at the Information Center, and we're very, very excited, and it's going to be an awesome piece for an entrance to our downtown area. And there'll be a nice read board attached to it, and of course the lettering and everything, but there isn't anybody going to move it, so let's put it that way. It's solid. It's solid. And on that note, with Public Works, I know that corner of the grass is city property. If the city would object to the chamber putting some weed control merchandise on the grass there to kind of be, so we have this nice big beautiful sign now going up. If we could kind of help make the grass area look better. Something I'm kind of asking permission or what the process could be for that. So if there's something you could work with us and let us know on that. Yeah. Chamber is also sponsoring the Goonies on August the 9th. I was just turned over the finances this evening for that. And our golf tournament, Chamber Golf Tournament, is also on August the 9th, and we are still looking for teams, sponsorships, raffle prizes, goodie bag treats, whatever. Just come and enjoy the day. And it is a Friday this year. I know it's been an issue with people in the past being on Thursday if they couldn't take off work, but this year it's on a Friday, so hopefully that'll draw more people out. We have an after hours at Holland America Ballroom on April the 25th, and if anybody would like to participate in that, you can set up a table down there to showcase your business, your wares, information, whatever you'd like to do on that. And then Chamber is asking if you would donate a small gift basket or something. We were going to do a raffle that night. And then you just need to call Christy down at Holland America Bulb Farm, and I'm sorry I forgot to put her number down to give to you, but to reserve the space, and they'll have a table ready for you. I think that sizes up on
I
everything.
think they're asking for a
Oh,
dessert or something
a dessert to go
if you
along with
decide to
that.
showcase
Yes,
your business.
right.
Yes.
There
So.
is that.
And legislative phone call is in the morning.
Yes, it is.
So anyone wanting to attend, it's at, they actually call at 7:30, I think, in the morning, but
Right,
we usually
they
try
do.
to get together to discuss issues at 7 o'clock. So if anybody wants to attend that. So thank you, Mrs. Graham. Okay. It looks like Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Council of Governments, Susan is gone, so there won't be a report on that this evening. And on the government legislative. The mayor can speak to that, and it looks like, do you have anything on downtown revitalization?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
all right.
belong to that at all.
Susan's absence for that, too,
Right.
so. Looks like we will go to reports of city officers. So, I will turn it over to Mr. Boyce.
All right, thank you. I wanted to report we finally have a date to meet with the clerical Teamsters. It will be June 20th, so it's a little bit out there, but we're hoping to be able to tie that one up in one meeting. So hopefully we'll be coming back with collective bargaining agreements following that date. I know Public Works is going to report on this, but it looks so nice. I wanted to mention the flagpole is up. They placed a light on the pole today, so the flag is up and flying, and it looks great. It was a used pole we purchased through a grant. Used to be on the post office just up the street, and it shined up beautifully, so please come take a look. It looks great. Friday, I interviewed 3 folks who submitted proposals for the indigent defense attorney. So I'll be making a recommendation and going to the finance committee to discuss it at our next meeting. Right now, I'm working on a financial analysis to look at possible annexation into the fire district. As soon as that's complete, that will go to the finance committee also. I also wanted to report that we completed a survey behind City Hall just last Wednesday. It shows the perimeter of city property and also shows the areas of the joint access agreement we have with our neighbor. So that was complete. Also wanted to give notice to City Council that a liquor license renewal at Anthony's Pizza has been done at 1421 Pacific Avenue. Upcoming city community events, calendar for upcoming comp plan meetings. We have April 20th. I guess we need to put those dates in there. My apologies for that. April 20th, 2019, the Easter egg hunt at Horseshoe Lake Park. April 22nd, 2019, City Council special meeting, Town Hall, 7 p.m. at the Woodland Middle School auditorium. And this is for the comp plan and proposed changes related to the growth scenarios. We decided to have it at a larger location because of the public interest. The auditorium, we did a walkthrough. We will be able to take video. However, it won't stream live, but we will have it up on YouTube as soon after the event as we can. The room does hold, I think they said 400 some seats, so hopefully it will be large enough for anyone who's interested. April 28th, the Get Bold Triathlon at Horseshoe Lake Park will be happening. May 22nd, Association of Washington Cities webinar series, Public Sector Resource Management will be held. May 27th, Rotary Culpeper Circus at Horseshoe Lake Park will be happening. May 27th, VFW Memorial Day service will be held. May 31st and June 1st, Moose Lodge Fishing Derby at Horseshoe Lake Park will be happening. Planners Days will be June 13th through the 16th. June 25th through the 28th. Association of Woodland Cities Annual Conference in Spokane will be taking place. June 28th, the Rotary Golf Tournament. August 3rd and August 4th, Y Racing Triathlon at Horseshoe Lake Park. August 9th, Chamber Golf Tournament. That is my report this evening.
Is there any questions, Mr. Boyce? Okay. All right. Looks like city at the public health and special meeting notices. What?
Well, I'll pull it up here. So these are the notices we advertised in the newspaper regarding the comp plan
Okay.
hearing.
Okay.
And so we talked about the meeting on the,
22nd.
right. So this is just a copy of the advertisement that was placed in the newspaper.
Okay, thank you. Okay, city attorney,
No, ma'am, nothing
Okay.
to report.
Clerk-Treasurer.
I handed down a report to everyone, but I had some highlights. Ordinance 1429 was adopted on the 4th of March. The council packets were March 4th and 18th. The meeting have been put out in the video of the council meetings. The 2008 total cost of compensation statements were distributed with the March 29th payroll. The associate planner, as you heard, has been onboarded. We had safety committees reviewing the hearing conservation program and policy and preparing an update to active threat and workplace violence. We had the chief come in and talk to us about it, show us a video. Let's see, the business license past due notices have been sent out. We have processed public records request number 2019-0615 to 2019-0617. And other items for request for information, and one of those public record requests is very large and is related to the comp plan history and records. Regarding the website, staff has had a demo with 3 different vendors, so we're going to review and recommendation is forthcoming. The RFQ for the indigent defense attorney's been put out. City administrator has interviewed 3 people. We've got 3 proposals. The utility rate study, we're prepping all the documents needed by the FCS group as requested from us. And we have processed a whole bunch of upcoming events and required paperwork and documents, as you heard from Pete, so I won't repeat them all. There's a whole bunch more. Just repeat them all.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Are there any questions? Okay. Police report, it doesn't look like Mr. Kelly's here, so how about fire?
Just a few highlights from last month. We did have a successful fire sprinkler save at the Astro gas station over on Pacific. It was fairly late at night and had a fire that there's a few other issues, and we did note a few code issues that we've been working with and addressing them at the time. But fortunately, there was only one occupant at the time of the fire, and it was quickly controlled by a sprinkler system in the building there. We're also continuing to help our neighbors, especially during the day and during the week. District 1 occasionally has some challenge getting crews. Unfortunately, we had to respond to a fatal accident where we were able to help them, but we had 3 of our crews up at that accident that was on Lewis River Road near Butte Hills. It was our Woodland crew, Ridgefield and La Center, and I think District 1 had 2 folks there assisting with that. Woodland continues to be our busiest station, and we've been able to keep that managed and going well. We onboarded a new inspector, and with that, we're able to handle requests for inspections. We've had a few businesses in Woodland reach out to us and request inspections. We've been able to accommodate that. In other parts of the district, there's a set program for inspections, but we're able to manage that across the board, and that's having some positive impact. We have a dedicated volunteer in community risk reduction also that's been doing some things. We extended another door-to-door smoke alarm campaign to a neighborhood in need in Woodland, and we were able to distribute about 50 needed smoke alarms to the community, so that was positive. And that volunteer with us, Tom Cook, has also been doing a lot for fire extinguisher training, and some of the industries that have reached out seeking that training, so we're able to provide that for free for them. And we are excited to be working with the tribe. They received a grant on a fire engine, and we're finalizing up that order, which will help us with our fleet overall. So it'll provide a new fire engine to La Center, which is their primary response area, but that will obviously help the district as we bump other things down the line and help everybody out there. So that's exciting that the tribe was able to secure that grant and work with us on that.
Good.
Other than that, we're just keeping busy.
Okay. Are there any questions of Mr. Jackson? Okay, thank you. looks like community development.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson.
First, for our building division update, in March we issued 35 permits, 11 of which were residential, totaling in value of $75,000. There were 24 non-residential permits, accounting for $725,000 in value, altogether about $800,000 in permits for building. For our planning division update, we issued a notice of application for the Burris Creek mini storage site. That's at 606 Robinson Road, zone light industrial. They're proposing to construct 10 new prefabricated self-storage buildings. And we issued a staff report and decision for the B&B at the commercial site plan on Belmont Loop. It's approved with conditions. And we're in the process of issuing a staff report and recommendation for the Builder's First Source Truss plant, and that's on Sherman Way. We received a short plat permit request at the Cellular Plus site on the Dyke Access Road near Sherman. And Kimmett Management is proposing to revise their original short plat application from 2 to 3 lots instead. We received from the Port of Woodland a final site plan for Guild Road Industrial Site. That's Phase 1 project. And they're proposing 6 new buildings there. We received a binding site plan from Woodland Corporate Center. They're proposing to expand the Woodland Corporate Center binding site plan. They want to include additional property to the east of the existing binding site plan to create 3 new lots. Coming up, we'll have 2 meeting days in April for pre-applications. On the 11th, we'll be meeting with Red Leaf to hear about their coffee shop, and also hear a shoreline pre-app concerning a house on South Pekin, and they'll be doing a shoreline restoration. On the 18th, we'll hear Quail Meadows, and they're proposing to create a planned unit residential development with 36 single-family residential lots. And Sage Investments, same area, is proposing a short division of 4 lots, ranging in size from ½ acre to 5 acres. Our Planning Commission met on the 21st and continued that meeting on the 28th. And we heard cases regarding expanding the urban growth boundary and zoning changes within the urban growth boundary. Waltz Meats did withdraw their application at the 21st hearing, but all other applications were recommended for approval with conditions and will be forwarded to City Council to hear. And on the 28th, we heard from Aho Construction, and the Commission reached a compromise on that proposal, and that will be forwarded to City Council. Upcoming, we will meet on the 18th, the Planning Commission, to hear comments about the cumulative docket of cases, and we'll have a new map prepared for that meeting. And then we've heard already about the City Council, and we'll have the special meeting on the 22nd at Woodland Middle School at 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Lewis River Road?
No. It's this side, you know, where Mashan lives. Mashan.
Bond, Mishan Bond.
On Lewis River Road, they've got a big house here with the gates, double gates.
Where you go to your free candy cans at Christmas?
Yes.
It's right, it's the next property past hers.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mrs. Coleman, Public Works.
You ready? It's a rough ride. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. This is a long night. I have a lot of stuff. Okay, Pete, did you by any chance I put my thumb drive? Oh yeah. I have a slideshow for you this time. I always don't like it when I don't have the opportunity to give you a slideshow.
She's
So,
over 1,000 words.
I just want to make sure you can pull the right one. Should say 4-1 right there. 4-1 down. Right
there.
Yep. I'm gonna have to go up closer. this getting old thing, I can't see anymore. Maybe I can see my pictures. Yeah, I'm gonna go up here and I gotta go up and stand. I'm sorry, so I can explain this to you. And can you do on the slideshow? Oh, maybe I won't have to go up. Maybe I will. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is basically Public Works system updates. I'll go over some photos. The guys were being a jokester because I'm the only one out there with an umbrella. I figured I have an umbrella because the hard hat drips on my down through my neck and everything else. So this is, we had a water line break over, we had a service line break over by Safeway. And so I was out there giving them my 2 cents worth. Of course, I'm not in the trench or anything, but I'm going to tell them what I think, right? So anyway, that's just a photo of me doing that. So right here, we, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show you some pictures of it. We had a flagpole, which is from the Frank and Arlene Price Foundation. We purchased, it was like, as Pete stated, it was the old flagpole from the post office. It was down the road. And we took it, we had somebody volunteer and offer their service and time to polish that flagpole for us. Absolutely came out beautiful. And then we had a contractor that we put out to bid to put the flagpole up. We had to have engineering done for the connection to the building, then we had to hire a contractor. This has been a whole long process. We received this grant almost a year ago. So by the time it's all said and done, we're finally having it installed on the building. So this is a contractor starting the construction where they laid it down there in front of City Hall. And then Scott, one of our workers, is putting on the light, and then he installed the flag. So it's up at City Hall, and this is actually an RCW code that's required that all municipalities are supposed to have a state and a U.S. flag on the City Hall. So now we are to code. So here we continue to battle graffiti at Gary Park, and you guys know that. I tell you that pretty much every report. You can see the latest graffiti up on the top left side. You can see that we paint it. We continue to paint. We will win. I'm just telling you that. So, and then as you can see on the right-hand side, I just took some photos. We submitted for, last year, I think I shared with you that I submitted for the AWC Municipal Excellence Award, and they didn't have a category for the park. Remember we cleaned up Goring Park last year? So they told us to submit this next year. Well, this year they opened it up to everybody, so all categories. So I don't know if we're going to get anything, but I submitted it, so hopefully we might be able to receive an award. You know, we received recognition in the AWC paper last year for our Make a Difference Day. So this year we're just, hopefully we'll get some recognition for the cleanup of the park that we did last year. So we have sand. I don't know if you guys have noticed down at Horseshoe Lake. We actually added sand. The port was kind enough to donate sand for us, and then we trucked sand in. We did it both. So the end of last year, we had enough funds left over to be able to do it from the boat launch ramp over towards the restroom facility. And then the beginning of this year, after the budget was approved, we had enough money to go ahead and go from the boat launch area towards I-5. So we were able to add some sand there. And then also we noticed when we were out there that there was no light on the flagpole, so we went ahead and added a light to the flagpole as well, since we were doing one and we had the Susan Swift right in. We also, I shared this with you last time. I just love this picture because it's kind of dreary, but there's a flag right there in this picture. That is a flag that we changed out at Gilligan's Island, which is right there at exit 21. The flag was all tattered and torn, so we went ahead and put a new flag, and that one does have a light on it already. So we've talked about this last year, and now we have the budgeted funds to do this. We talked about area lights out here in the parking lot. You know, I upgraded all the lights here at the police station to LED, so we have a lot brighter area for parking. But we're also adding some lights in this back corner over here. So we were pouring the bases for those lights to be installed. So this is just the guys, which I say are up to no good out there. But they actually were working, and, you know, I was kind of surprised to get some good pictures of them. Then, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this. I talked about this, but the PowerPoint wasn't working when we did this in February. We actually purchased some flags for downtown. We were going to have I call it the sip, trip, and fall, but it's actually the sip and stroll downtown in Woodland. And so we've had some Valentine flags, and we decorated the poles with some pink lights. It looked really nice if you hadn't seen it. But in the meantime, we've taken those down and we put up the 100-year flags for Woodland. So those are installed now downtown. Then CC Street. So we had some complaints, and it's kind of hard to tell from this picture, but we have motorcycles that are coming in and out. So they go down CC Street, and then they'd come in this area right here, right through those barriers. The motorcycles would come, there's no barricades down here a little further. They'd come and ride the motorcycles and go down the road, down this area on the motorcycles. So we went ahead, and this is a little different shot. We added 2 barricades, so the barricades are added from here. And then we also put lines in there so the motorcycles can't get through. So we had a lot of complaints, so we just updated that. How many fingerprints I put on that. Okay, and then lift station number 5. So we have some type of oil or grease that's being dumped into our lift station 5. And as you guys know, this is the lift station that we're doing the upgrades to. And so before we do these upgrades, we're trying to find out where the oil and or grease is coming from. So we actually have been working with the city of Vancouver, and we TV'd the line. We believe we know where it's coming from. We're not 100% sure yet. We sent the oil and or grease samples out to a lab to have them evaluated. Everybody who is in that area has been fully cooperational with us, allowing us to go inspect their facility. Because the last thing we want to do is update this lift station and have our pumps fail. Because right now what that grease does is cause our pumps to go on, off, on, off, on, off. So we have a barrier set up in there now, and we've backed out that lift station a couple times, and I believe we'll have an answer within a couple weeks to figure out where that's coming from. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen a water or sewer tap, so I just thought I'd throw these pictures in there. These we do on a monthly basis. So on the left picture, that is actually a water line, and there's a saddle on there, and the blue line that is going underneath his arm is the actual residential line water tap. And then you can see in the middle picture, that blue line goes from the new construction all the way out to where the water line is, which is on the opposite side of the road, which is where Scott in the left picture is sitting at. And then on the right, the very picture on the right, that's a sewer tap. So we have an old sewer main, and then we actually just did a tap for 2 different sewer connections there. So that's it. That's all I have on that. So there's your photos. Now we'll go over some other stuff in regards to the Public Works Committee meeting report. So as you know, in the budget, we had approval to purchase a dump truck out of the budget, and so we have went ahead and ordered that dump truck, and that has a plow on it, so we're replacing one of our vehicles there, so that's a wonderful thing to have happen, especially when we get some snow this year. The the booster station project, this is the water booster pump, and this is on Scott Hill, so this is to get us water for the Scott Hill Park. The engineering is actually ahead of schedule, but due to the long lead items that we have, which are some pumps that we're ordering for that, we will not be able to water Scott Hill Park this year. So I have informed those that are involved in Scott Hill Park and let them know, and we're going to try to figure out some other options. Unfortunately, due to the restrictions that we have in government, we cannot order the pumps ahead of time. We can't sole source anything. We have to follow our code, and we have to follow MRSC. So we can't expedite it any faster than we already are. We expedited the engineering, so now the pumps are 12 weeks out. So even if I did it tomorrow, it's still a shot of getting it constructed. It's just not going to happen. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. We actually, I think I shared with you guys, we have a valve training program where we go through the entire city. So when we have the water line break at Safeway, what you have to do when you have water line breaks, you have to turn the main water off or the service line off. And so we have a valve that goes to the service line, we have a valve that goes to the main water line. And so this valve training program, what it does, it's kind of like, think of it, a faucet at your house and a spigot. You turn it on, turn it off. Sometimes it drips, sometimes it leaks. So this valve training program, you have a hydraulic machine that goes out and it turns the valves, opens and closes, open and close, open and close. So anytime you have a water break, you can close that line off, shut that water off so you can do your repair. Well, our valves, both the service line and our main line, the valves, we couldn't get the water turned off when we did that repair for Safeway. So we're going to have to go back out there and we're going to have to fix one of the valves, and we're also going to do that repair. So we did a temporary repair. Now I will state with you that something that should have cost us probably a half a day, maybe a full day of man hours, is now costing us 3 days in overtime because of the way that was constructed. So whether it wasn't inspected correctly, the contractors using shortcuts, not putting in the proper backfill, and actually using the wrong angle of line for that water line, caused that line to break. And you can see that. We have actual photos of that. So it's very important that we have our inspections done and then we don't allow shortcuts because it costs us 3 times the amount in maintenance later on down the road. So anyway, so we're working on that. We did receive the Scott Avenue, Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad permit to be able to upsize that water line underneath Davidson. So we did get the permit in hand on March 22nd. I'm totally excited. It only took us a year, maybe. So I'm really excited about that. A year and about $18,000 later, but we have the permit in hand, and now we can start working on putting a larger water line in on the other side on Pekin Road. The let's see here. Old Pacific Highway and utility improvements. Oh, on Scott Hill Road, we have the sewer connection. So from the top of Scott Hill Road down to Old Pacific Highway, we have a sewer line that we need to connect in there. And so we actually have the final engineering review being done on that drawing right now. And then we hope to get that RFQ out to bid in June to start construction sometime in July or August. Street closures, we're going to have Park Road and various other partial closures for Lake Shore Drive and South Pekin because we have that Blooms to Brews run on April 28th. Sidewalks. So if you guys are all familiar, when you're driving down Pacific Road, you can see there's 2 spans of overhead power lines from Cowlitz PUD that are on Pacific Road, and they go right in front of the Draper Orthodontics and JM Homes, and then it heads down towards Hoffman Street. So if you look, those are the only overhead lines that are on Pacific right now. So Cowlitz PUD is working with us to put those lines underground at no charge to us. We just have to initiate a sidewalk project. So I walked that with Cowlitz PUD, Gibson Olson, and we're going to put that out to bid to see what that's going to cost us. So that's in process right now. We have on the schedule this year to do, let's see, chip seal like we did last year. We have Lake Avenue. We're going to chip seal Lake Avenue. Spruce, rhododendron. We're trying to work on both sides of town. And then also Garrick Street from Lakeshore Drive towards town. We have some pretty severe potholes in there. And then in the meantime, the roads that we did last year, 2nd Street, CC Street, and Davidson Alley, the Davidson Alley, we're going to put another layer on those as well because they need another layer. City Hall, I told you about the flagpole. It was a Frank and Arlene Price Foundation. We finally had that done. We have Arbor Day celebration this year. It's going to be April 24th. And most likely will be held at one of 2 locations, but the mayor will announce that a little later on. And then put on your calendars, June 28th through August 9th, every Friday night. I want to see every single one of you downtown at our Horseshoe Lake Park. We're going to have live bands, the best bands you've ever heard for in your life. Of course, it's going to cost us an arm and a leg. But anyway, we have the best bands. We're going to have antique shows. We're going to have military vehicles. We're going to have antique tractor vehicles on display. We're going to have car shows out there. Then we're going to have the movies. So we're going to have vendors. It's going to be just a night of Friday night fun for the whole family. So every Friday night from June 28th to August 9th. If you know anybody who wants to make a donation to pay for one of the events, we're asking for about $300, and that'll either pay for a movie or go toward the band, so on and so forth. But we have a lot of people coming out, and I'm excited about that. All right, let's see. We also have been chosen, the city has been chosen for the Tour of Honor, and that is where veterans and memorials, people who have been in our military who have served us will actually be honored, where motorcycles go and they tour all through Washington State, and our city was chosen to come look at the Veterans Memorial there right on Davidson. So we're going to be moving that Veterans Memorial to the opposite side, which is at the Hoffman Plaza, away from the fire station. And so hopefully we'll get that done before the tour starts. And basically it's an open tour. Anybody on motorcycles can come through town. They're going to announce it April 1st, which is today, and we were told to keep our mouths shut until then, but it's April 1st, so there we go. I'm opening up on it. And so anybody will come through town on their motorcycles and just be looking at our city, and I'm really excited to see the visitors and the tourists come to town for that. So what else we have? Oh, so we submitted a grant this year. We already submitted another grant, and that is for the school walk route improvement, and that is to put flashing pedestrian signs and And Your Speed Is signs on State Route 503 and what's the road right in front of the middle school there across from our park where they do the bocce ball? What road's that?
Park
Is it
and.
Park? There we go.
Yeah.
So on Park, we're going to have some flashing pedestrian signs out there. So we submitted for a grant for that. So hopefully we'll get that. We submitted for it last year. We didn't receive it. So I have been pestering them month after month until they responded to me to ask me what do we need to do to get it. They finally came back to us and they actually sent somebody out to us to show us how to fill out the application. So hopefully we'll get it this year. Let's see, so on the Port of Woodland, we received those grant dollars, which you guys are already familiar with, and we actually went out and started purchasing the material to be able to put the utilities in the park. So we purchased the materials. Engineering has begun on our CDBG funding for the sidewalks on Beechwood and the ADA ramps throughout town. So that's begun in the surveying. In addition to the surveying and engineering for the Hoffman Street, that's being worked on right now. And then also our TIB funding, I'm working on an RFQ for engineering services for that West Scott Avenue from Pacific all the way to Sherman Way. So we'll be doing that. And I'm done. That's all I have.
Are there any questions?
Did you follow everything I said?
Yes.
All
Almost.
right.
There'll be a
Just
quiz
making
later.
sure. Yeah, there'll be a quiz.
Okay, thank you.
Tracy, the tour of honor, is that just any time, or are there dates for that, or just when anybody wants to come through?
That's correct. So on, if you go onto the website where it says Tour of Honor, it's a motorcycle club, and what they're doing is throughout the summer months, from whenever they announce it, which I believe is April 1st till probably September, anybody's welcome to come to our city to look at our memorial site.
Oh,
And so
okay.
they're going through, there's different stops in Washington State, so they might start in Seattle and work their way all the way down to, what's the border after Washington? Oregon. I'm thinking Canada. I'm like, I gotta go the other direction. I knew it was in California.
Right,
So
right.
anyway,
And then on the stuff in the park, starting the 28th.
Oh, yeah.
through the
Movies in
9th.
the park, hot summer nights.
Is it all going to be in the park, or are you doing
Yes.
the music up at the plaza?
yes. So and something I forgot to tell you. This is so exciting. We're also going to have a farmer's market. So the gal who puts on the farmer's market in Vancouver, who does a really good farmer's market, she's going to be coming down here and join us for one of the three nights in that time frame between June and August to set up a farmer's market. So, for instance, the first night we're having is a tractor's theme, a farmer's theme. So we'll have a farmer's market, the tractors, and the movie will be a farmer's theme movie. So like Field of Dreams. So we'll show Field of Dreams, so on and so forth. So it's all going to be themed. So then the following Friday will be a military night. So it's to honor our military. So we'll have where we have the military vehicles there. We're going to show Valiant, which is a cartoon military movie, and then we'll have a band that will play 40s era music, or stuff for a military era. So all the bands are going to be catered towards whatever our theme is.
But it's all going to be down in the park
All
area,
down at-
not anything up at the plaza at all. Then.
Right now, we don't have anything in the plaza unless we work with the Moose Lodge, which I haven't coordinated everything with them yet.
Okay.
So it's not 100% finalized yet.
Okay, so on behalf of the chamber, when you have a schedule with everybody's names and what you're doing, could you see to it that we get it at the information center so
Absolutely.
that Mr. Burke can put it on our chamber website also?
And the reader board?
And the reader board.
And the reader board.
All right, you got it.
And the reader board,
Okay.
because it's beautiful.
Okay, any other
anyway,
questions for Mrs. Coleman? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move to consent items. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to approve the consent items. Mrs. Anderson, could you take a roll call, please?
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin? Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Do I go through each? Action item? Okay. Voucher approval, action item A. Do I need to, do I
That's the
need?
consent. So-
Pardon?
Yeah, we just approved
Okay,
it.
we just approved that. Okay, so,
Items E
all right.
through F.
A through D, and now action items E through
F.
F.
Move to approve action item E, resolution number 709, authorize public works director and city administrators authorize signatures for grant administration.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to approve resolution number 709. Mrs. Anderson, will you take the roll?
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye. Okay. Action item F, Public Works. Authorize repurpose of WDOT grant funding from Scott Avenue reconnection to exit 21.
Move to approve action item F.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to approve action item F. Mrs. Anderson, would you please take the roll?
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Okay. I guess we
Motion to
will,
adjourn?
I will, pardon. Accept the motion to adjourn? Been first, was it second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.